jurors. With us now, Michael DeSharo, one of our favorite guests in New York, criminal defense attorney, former
Always good to see you.
Assistant district attorney. This is like a Law and Order episode, right? I'm thinking the defense wants jurors who ride the subway every day.
Absolutely. And they want jurors that rob the subway and jurors that are concerned about their safety if something like that happens.
Well, if you've been on the New York subway, even as a visitor, as I have, you should be concerned about your safety. I thought about the protesters outside, the people chanting murder and murder and everything. All I can think of is who now today would protect anybody on the New York subway if rather than getting a medal, you're going to get arrested and charged with murder?
That's a pretty good analysis. And that's also something that works in favor of Mr. Penny. This is a classic 50-50 New York City trial. This is remnants of Bernie Goetz. The jurors, 12 of whom all have to agree, right? Mr. Penny has to testify. He's the only one that can tell the jury, I did not intend to kill this man. I wanted to stop the threat. I don't know if he testified in the grand jury because they're secret, but that's the way this case is going. And you opened up a really important point. Every day, this jury is going to be doing field tests. They're going to be taking the subway back and forth to Harlem, to the Upper West Side, and every day they're going to be, some of them, obviously, because we all know what happens on the subway, there's real danger sometimes.
What does, there's another irony, right, that Alvin Bragg, who doesn't care if you push old women in front of subways, then you get off, but this guy is getting charged murder. What does he have to prove, and what is the minimum that Penny has to come out by saying that the self-defense argument holds?
Every self-defense case comes down to one thing. Is it reasonable? What he did under those circumstances. And if a jury believes that it's reasonable, did he use excessive force? And when he testifies, I imagine the prosecutors are going to go through each second of that frame as to, because he held on to him after he wasn't moving. So that's going to be a big focus of the prosecution. The defense is going to say he had to control him because he was fearful, because he said, and I've heard witnesses say this, that he was going to kill everybody on the train.
Is there any way to look at this prosecution, and we saw people out there, wandering around with Palestinian flags and all this crazy stuff, as something other than a political prosecution by Alvin Bragg?
I think this is something that I don't think Mr. Bragg has got this case right. I think this case is something a jury could very well come back with a not guilty on this. If he's listening to the politics, or I believe he is, this is what is motivating him. I don't understand what the Palestinian flag has to do with Mr. Penny. I don't know.
Well, the BLM movement and the Palestinian pro-terrorist movement are pretty aligned. But that's a different thing. I give you the last word here. What are you going to be watching for the trial, for jury selection on this?
The people on the jury. If I'm Mr. Penny, I want young girls. I want older people. I want older women. I want people on the subway who, if something happens, they will be afraid for their safety.
Right, somebody who wants a Daniel Penny next to him on the subway,
correct,
not the homeless guy who was screaming that he was going to kill people if he didn't get something to eat.
Agreed.
All right. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com.